professor of anatomy who liked to tell naughty stories during class. A group of female students decided that the next time he started to tell one, they would all rise and leave the room in protest. The professor, however, got wind of their scam just before class the following day, so he bided his time. Then, halfway through the lecture, he began. They say there is quite a shortage of prostitutes in France. The girls looked at one another, arose and started for the door. Young ladies, said the professor with a broad smile. The next plan doesn't leave until tomorrow afternoon. It was the talk of the town when an 80-year-old man married a 20-year-old girl. After a year, she went to a hospital to give birth. The nurse came out to congratulate the guy. "This is amazing. How do you do it at your age?" He answered, "You've got to keep that old motor running." The following year, she gave birth again. The same nurse said, "You really are amazing. How do you do it?" He again said, "You've got to keep the old motor running." The same thing happened the next year. The nurse said, "You must be quite a man." He responded, "You've got to keep that old motor running." The nurse then said, "Well, you had better change the oil. This one's black." A boy was walking down the street when he noticed his grandpa sitting on the porch in the rocking chair with nothing on, from the waist down. "Grandpa, what are you doing?" he asked. The old man looked off in the distance and did not answer him. "Grandpa, what are you doing sitting out here with nothing on below the waist?" he asked again. The old man slowly looked at him and said, "Well, last week I sat out here with no shirt on and I got a stiff neck. This is your grandma's idea." A doctor recently had a patient drop in on him for an unscheduled appointment. "What can I do for you today?" the doctor asked. The aged gentleman replied, "Doctor, you must help me. Every time I make love with my wife, my eyes get all blurry, my legs go weak, and I can hardly catch my breath." "Doctor, I'm scared." The doctor, looking at his 86-year-old patient, said, "Mr. Smith, this sensation tends to happen over time, especially to a man of your advanced years. But tell me, how often do you notice these symptoms?" The old gent's response was, "Well, 3 times last night and twice again this morning." First day of university, the dean addressed the students, pointing out some of the rules. The female dormitory will be out of bounds for all male students, and the male dormitory to the female students. Anybody caught breaking this rule will be fined $20 the first time. He continued, anybody caught breaking this rule the second time will be fined $60. Being caught a third time will cost you $180. Are there any questions? At this point, a male student in the crowd inquired, "How much for a season ticket?" A guy was playing golf and a golf ball hit him in the balls and he passed out. His friends took him to the doctor. The man asked him, "Well, what do you think, doc?" The doctor replied, "We're going to have to put him in sockers for about a week." He then took 4 ton depressors and tied them all together with a string. The man's face looked disappointed. He told the doctor, "But tonight my girlfriend and I are going to have sex for the first time." The doctor replied, "You're going to have the bear with it." Later that night, the man and his girlfriend were alone. She took off her shirt and grabbed her breast. No one has ever seen this before. The man pulled out his and said, "Well, mine's still in the crate." 12 monks were about to be ordained. The final test was for them to line up naked in a garden while a nude model danced before them. Each monk had a small bell attached to his privates, and they were told that anyone whose bell rang wouldn't be ordained, because he had not reached a state of spiritual purity. The model danced before the first monk candidate. With no reaction, she proceeded down the line with the same response until she got to the final monk. As she danced, his bell rang so loudly it fell off and clattered to the ground. Embarrassed, he bent down to pick up the bell, and 11 other bells began to ring. And following the wedding, the husband laid down some rules. "I'll be home when I want, if I want, and at what time I want," he insisted, "and I don't expect any hassle from you. Also, I expect a decent meal to be on the table every evening. Unless I tell you otherwise, I'll go hunting, fishing, boating, and card playing with my buddies whenever I want. Those are my rules," he said. "Any comments?" His new bride replied, "No, that's fine with me, but just understand that there'll be eggs here at 7 o'clock every night, whether you're here or..." A woman goes into a dentist's office, and after he's through examining her, he says, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to have to drill a tooth." The woman then says, "Oh, the pain is so awful, I'd rather have a baby." To which the dentist replies, "Make up your mind, I have to adjust the charm." A man goes into a shop and starts looking around. He sees a washer and dryer, but there are no prices listed on them. He asks a salesman, who says $5 for both of them. "You've got to be joking." The man says, "No, that's the price." The salesman says, "Do you want to buy them or not?" "Yeah, I'll take them." He continues to look around and sees a car stereo system with a detachable face castle player, a CD changer, amplifier, and speakers. "How much?" he asked. $5 for the system including installation. The salesman said, "Is it stolen?" The man asks incredulously. "No," says the salesman, "it's brand new. Do you want it or not?" "Certainly," the man says. He looks around some more. As the salesman is ringing up the purchase, the man asks him, "Why are your prices so cheap?" The salesman says, "Well, the owner of the shop is at my house right now with my wife, and what he's doing to her, I'm doing to his business."